Hey, when does a joke become a dad joke?
When
When?
When it becomes apparent. I used to play piano by ear, but now I use my hands. And also, I'm not a big reader, but did you know I'm reading a book about anti gravity, and it's impossible to turn down.
wow.
Four or 5 years, I thought we were talking about the product that we put on the field this year that looked like absolute trash. 4 or 5 years.
So carry on. Enjoy your regular season win. Go ahead and hang that banner
They
up.
didn't have that. You really think behaviors would get better without sports? You're out of your
No.
They didn't have that.
No.
Welcome back to Experts Very Little, where we know just enough to be dangerous. We are here with the Fab Three, John Stoney Stonebarger, the car salesman of the decade, and Mr. Jacob Mose Mosby. And we are here to bring you a dad episode. We're going to go off the cuff here a little bit and go off the trail, I should say, and go away from sports for a minute. We're going to talk about being a dad. So if that interests you, please like and subscribe. And we would love to have your conversations coming in for comments so we can interact with you. Or if you see this later, please comment, interact, tell us how you are as a dad, or the things you do that maybe we don't talk about that maybe we could learn from. So with that being said, welcome, boys. How are you today on July 2nd, 2026?
I'm hot.
Yeah, he's hot.
There's, had a 2-hour football practice tonight, so I'm hot.
Okay, John. John, how was your football? Oh, wait, your air conditioning sales office that you have?
Sitting on his butt. You know?
When you get that manager title, that kind of
Yeah.
makes it a little cooler. You don't have to
Yeah. Something going on with your mic there, so we're gonna let you kind of get that figured out, I think. But I don't know how are your fantasy teams doing today, boys? I'm kind of looking here. Mosby and John are playing each other. What's going on here, Mosby?
I think John, he had a pretty good day today, so I think our score is now me 14, John 1. It was 16-1, so he's gaining a little ground, folks. But here's
don't act like your stats are just astronomically.
Hey, here's the great thing about John. John should have been selling pieces on his team because we're part of a dynasty league. He should have been selling pieces of his team 4 weeks ago. If I end up beating John 14-1, it's going to put him more farther behind. But somehow, some way, he's still going to think he's in it.
He got called out by Preston too. I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting cooked as well, so I can't say much.
I like where guys who's never won anything think they have a right to say anything.
I'm right. I know. Like that's why I don't talk.
Oh yeah. Caleb Evans said on TikTok, John always having issues, mic problems. Yes, Caleb. Me and Ben just talked about this. It goes all the way back to our Warzone COVID days. It was always John.
Hey, we were supposed to be on here an hour ago, but weren't we just delayed by your technical difficulties?
Do we need to go through your text message? I texted and said, "Hey, we're on," and you said, "I'm not even home yet." So let's stop.
Oh, I was in town, bro. I've been home, but
it's good to have. It's good to have Mosby back. I've missed the banter between you and Mosby. Had your brother on last week or last weekend, I guess, but he is on his way to Chicago to watch the Cardinals Cubs 4th of July game. So that's pretty cool.
Go Cubs, go.
He messaged me earlier. It was like, "Hey, play this 20-0 tournament because I have a long drive." I know you have a long drive. Did it a couple times, and woof. But
No thank.
maybe in a couple summers we will do a guys trip and go knock out some ballparks. Mosby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
We need to do it.
I do want to talk. I do want to start off here. 4th of July is coming up, and John's an expert on this. However, he's really picky, so it might not be very fun. But I know we're probably going to be barbecuing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you guys put on your plates? What do you look forward to during 4th of July?
Hold on, John. I'm going to build the ultimate plate, and then we can go to your. Then we can go to your little kid table where you like your hot dogs cut up in little squares or something. Okay.
Mine's easy. That's what he said.
Okay. I got to have a chop. I got to have a pork chop, pork steaks, whatever. I got to have the pig on the plate somewhere, some way, somehow. Okay. Multiple hot dogs, and they got to be the bar S hot dogs. And they got to be charred. Boom.
Bar S? The Bar S hot dogs?
Yeah, that's the only hot dogs I'll eat, baby. Okay.
You want to do Nathan's?
I mean, I do not do all the all beef. Now, if it's like there's other hot dogs I will, but I cannot do the all beef hot dogs. Okay. Then baked beans. Okay, with a little bit of honey or syrup cooked in it, brown sugar, whatever you want. Okay. Mac and cheese can't be too dry. Got to be good mac and cheese. Okay. Then got to have some grilled barbecue chicken. And then, but before you even get to that plate, and you got to have a burger too, a little barbecue sauce on the burger. I mean, I'm talking about like that's probably the only meal I'm eating the whole day, and that's a smorgasbord. But before you get that, every 4th of July barbecue has to have a good veggie and fruit tray before.
Wow. Are you doing the veggie and fruit tray, John?
I'm in on veggie. Well, I say for the most part, carrot, celery. I'll eat some broccoli with some ranch dip. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
definitely in on the fruit. Yeah, man. I'm a
guy said, "Is the plate? Is this that before or after you gag? Just gag." My bad gag reflex.
Big time guy. That was one of the funniest moments in my life. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just gonna say some people, Mosby, should be well practiced at where the gag reflexes are no longer there.
God.
So no, the fruit and the veggie tray are solid, but it's hamburger, brats. I'll do a hot dog. I mean, I'm cool with that. And then of course, you've got some. I don't know, like a pasta salad that Tracy makes every now and then. It's pretty good. I don't do a whole lot. Of veggies unless it's like green beans and stuff. But they don't do a whole lot of that stuff. Baked beans for sure. Pork and beans, whichever one they want.
Pork and beans.
Of course, you've got to follow. It's not a 4th of July without a watermelon. You have to have a watermelon.
A watermelon.
Absolutely.
Well, my favorite type of BBQ. Probably I usually get at a barbecue restaurant, so it would be the same. 4th of July is definitely some fried bologna.
You already know, Caleb.
Bologna for you guys who want to say it correctly, but the bologna is delicious, and then I can really eat any of the meat really for barbecue. It's not seafood. Seafood's where I draw the line, but barbecue you can throw anything on there, and I'm going to be able to eat it. And then for the sides, I can do mac and cheese. I can do baked beans. I can do potato salad. I can do any of it, man. I'm pretty open. Even just chips, just regular chips.
Absolutely.
I can murder some chips. And then I don't know. I'm not a big dessert guy, honestly. So whatever dessert's there, I could probably pick apart. But
see, I'm glad you say that about not being a big desserts guy, because my dad and stepmom find it hard to believe that the only time we eat dessert is when we eat at their house.
I got a question for you, John, because this was proposed by Mosby the other day when he was hanging out at my house.
Okay.
When you open a bottle of ketchup, what do you do with it after you brand new bottle of ketchup? You just got it from the store. You opened it up and you're done. You're the last one to use it. What do you do with it?
I put it in the refrigerator.
Okay, I do too.
You know
So
who
does
doesn't?
Mosby.
You know
but apparently,
who doesn't? My dad and stepmom don't. My
That's
dad and
weird.
stepmom, they say we're the weird ones for refrigerating it.
on
What
the
else are you gonna do
bottle,
with it?
on the bottle, it says keep refrigerated.
Because after a while it separates and then it turns into liquid, and then I don't even know.
I put it in chat GTT, whatever, and it says you don't necessarily have to, but most of them recommend that you do put it in the fridge because it says the acid will help keep it fresh or whatever. But it says you don't necessarily have to. But I just always, anytime you open anything, in the refrigerator.
That's the same.
In the
Same
refrigerator.
with.
Yeah, I'm wanting to know. I'm wanting people to. I don't know if you're talking, John. We can't hear you if you are, but I'm wanting to find people. I want the internet to respond to this question. Like, I've never heard of this till Mosby told me, but is this a thing? Like, are there people that fight about not putting ketchup in the fridge? Because Mosby made it sound like his dad was like, "You're out of your mind."
Yeah, my dad thinks we are nuts. Syrup in the guy asked syrup in the fridge or out of the fridge. I put it in the fridge.
I do too. But
and my reason behind that is because ants are very attracted to syrup, and I'm terrified that I'll go get the syrup and it'll be covered in freaking ants.
But here's the thing, guy. This is a good point though, because it is a little odd to have cold syrup when you make pancakes or waffles. That is
John,
odd.
we still can't hear anything you're saying.
Yeah, just look pretty because me and Mosby are carrying the show. My back's hurting because of it. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point, Guy, because cold syrup is kind of odd whenever you put it on your waffles.
Things I like to use, Caleb put McDonald's ketchup isn't refrigerated. That's the thing, Caleb. That's probably this. We could be split on this. A lot of people could say put it in the fridge. A lot of people could say no, don't put it in the fridge. But back to syrup, when I do my barbecue, like smoking brisket and ribs and stuff, when I will take a root beer or Dr. Pepper, pour it in brown sugar and syrup, mix it up, and then mix in some barbecue sauce, and that's my glaze for my meat.
What the heck?
Beautiful. Tastes so good. I'm telling you.
I found it.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of, I gotta go back to the Bar S hot dogs. Bar S, really?
Oh, dude, that's all I eat. And there's a recipe I'm going to try that I saw today. Bar S burnt ends. I'm going to chop them up, mix them with some brown sugar and some stuff. Probably that little sauce.
Now I'd probably murder that.
I'm going to smoke them.
Do you guys eat?
I can't do the all beef hot dogs.
Oh, 100%. Pull it out of the pack.
Cold hot dog, Mosby.
I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. I used to be
cold
able
hot
to.
dog. Yeah, absolutely.
I did it in front of my daughter the other day. I thought she's going to gag.
Chocolate syrup.
Chocolate syrup does not go in the fridge.
Chocolate syrup? Either. Yeah. Mine's out of it. Mine's out of the fridge. Mine's in the pantry. But I murder the chocolate syrup. I mean, there's a reason.
See, I was about to say you don't have it long enough.
When I buy the caramel for ice cream, I don't store it in the fridge.
No, try getting it out if you do.
So Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Have we determined if Joey Chestnut is he in it?
I have no idea. That's on Saturday.
Because remember, didn't he get like?
He didn't do it. He protested it last year or something like that.
Let's see here. Faced legal issues. I think he's in it. Looks like he's in it, and it looks like his over under is 70.5 hot dogs. What's it going to be? Is he going over or under 70.5?
Oh, hot dogs. Over. I was going to say I would never bet against that guy.
All right, you guys go over. I'm gonna take the under.
Guy, my dad says the same thing about Bar S, and I can't repeat my response that I give him about that. So,
what did you guys say?
Guy says, "Go look at how Bar S hot dogs are made, and you won't be eating them." Oh, I'll be eating them. Trust me, I don't care.
No, thank you.
Mosby don't care, guy. Come on now.
Don't give a two rats.
Goes to a restaurant and there could be hair in his food. He'll be like,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's get this gravy ate.
No, hey, you say Bar S, blah, blah, blah. I will not. This is one thing. I will not drink after anybody. If I open up a brand new drink and anybody, I don't care who you are, you take my wife, anything, you take a drink of it, it's yours. See you. Ain't doing it. Boom.
What?
Well, you know that's been me my whole life.
I don't.
A lock.
The only person I've ever drunk after was my mom, and that's when I was a little kid. And then I got to a certain age, I'm like, I'm not drinking after anybody. That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well,
that don't bother me none.
yeah, I can't do it. Well, all right, man. 4th of July is here. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. My last 4th of July in my 30s, by the way. All downhill.
Same here.
It's all downhill. Speaking of 4th of July, and this is just as an I've gotten situation, but I am finding
hold on. Guy said, "What about drinking after Lexi?" I will drink off of Lexi.
Oh my God. Bless America. Clip it.
Hey,
clip it.
Let's tell her to save the bath water and sell it to me. Come on.
Gross.
Guy, you might want to get a restraining order, homie.
4th of July. 4th of July.
I'll be in Guy's shop and he'll say, "Your girl's coming in." I'm like, "Who?" Because I forget this little running joke, and then it's like Lexi, and I'm like, and it just embarrasses the hell out of it. It's great.
4th of July is one of the I'm not gonna say overrated, but it is. I cannot get behind buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars of fireworks. Nope. I think it's because as the older I've gotten, I realize, you throw $300 at fireworks and they're gone in 30 minutes, and it bothers the crap out of me. Now, I guess if I was more loaded, it'd be different.
I haven't spent money on fireworks in 3 years. Don't do it. Let's just go watch a fireworks show. Who cares? I mean,
my daughter loves the parachutes. We'll go buy a bunch of parachutes, shoot them off and chase them and do those things like that. But dude, I remember when I was in my 20s, I'd go buy hundreds of dollars of fireworks.
Sounds like I'm going to Kyle's.
Well, yeah. So Guy said Kyle just dropped like $1,500 on fireworks.
All right. What's the address? God. Drop it in the chat, please. Thanks.
Yeah, come on. Kyle, we're
coming. That'd be good.
Who's bringing the barbecue?
Poker Pro said, "Do it for the girls." See, here's the thing. Like when growing up, my dad and his brothers, they would drop about $3 freaking grand. Oh, sorry, I almost slipped there. $3 freaking grand on fireworks, and we'd be shooting them from 9 a.m. in the morning until midnight. And there for a while with my first two boys and even my daughter, when I was going to buy $600-700 worth of fireworks, and then I think it was like 3 years ago after 4th of July, I'm like, I looked at my wife and said, "What are we doing? We could be using that towards a vacation or something." Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you, Poker Pro. I believe it's Jason Sauer. And I do buy. I'll drop probably about $200 is probably what I'll drop on fireworks, because I like to take my girls and they pick their fireworks out. And even I'll try to navigate them like, let's not pick. That's a dumb one. Let's do this one, but we'll still, we'll get some, we'll come home, we'll pop them. And like my mom's coming tomorrow, so we'll do that. She likes to see everybody pop fireworks, so we'll do that and have a good time. But I think it's just a thing of, whenever you are paying for other things, it's tough business spending that much money and knowing it'll be gone in hours. So
Guy said Kyle can afford it because he sold the 1-of-1 rookie Wemby card for $50K. Yeah, that'll do it.
Drop his address in the chat, please, and
just text us in. We'll be all right.
Let's go take a look at that. I mean, good luck with that card.
Yep.
Who's Wimby, by the way?
He probably still. The crazy thing, he's probably still don't tip you on the haircuts either, does he, guy?
Oh my lord! All right, we have a couple dads in here in the chat, so I want to kind of get to this. But we're gonna go. We're gonna pull this up, and I found this article on allprodad.com, and we're just going to kind of talk about some things that it talks about, and we're going to kind of give our opinions as a dad. And I haven't even let these guys see what the 15 conversations are, so it's going to be right off the top of their dome. So it'll be pretty good. But 15 conversations every dad needs to have, written by Jackie Bledsoe. Okay. And basically, he says, what started off as a simple conversation with our son about his dissection shark at school abruptly switched to, I don't know, babies were made like that. I thought the baby was just in mom's stomach and didn't come until she got married. So a conversation with our son had with my wife about shark babies became a 5 seconds conversation about how human babies are made. Having difficult conversations like these is not easy, but it's necessary. I realized at that moment there may be a conversation or two that we need to have with our son very soon. Here are 15 conversations you must have as a dad. Now, what's great is we have a combined 9 kids between the 3 of us, so it's a mix. Some of us had boys, some of us have girls. 2 of us have both. One of us only has girls. So it'll be.
And we're dads at all different stages of aspects. John's got kids out of high school. I'm about to have a teenager. You got the younger kids. I got the younger kids, and we're freaking.
It'd be 9, guy.
And
yes,
we're
Jason. Good to be back, bro.
and we all parent different. Us 3 are 3 different type of dads. So you are correct, guy. Yes,
9. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
that was on purpose. But I'm glad Guy's in here because Guy's got a grip of kids with many different ages, so he'll be able to comment. And hopefully Sour stayed on here too because he's got a lot of kids as well, way many different ages, so he'll be able to kind of comment his thoughts too. But number 1, according to this article, is girls versus boys, the opposite sex. From the cootie stage to the dating age, our kids need to hear from us about the opposite sex. What makes us different? Why? And how do we relate to one another? What are some things that you've done? Either one of you can answer right off the top to kind of explain, as they grow older, this stage of life.
I'm a little bit more stern with my boys. A little bit discipline is. I mean, I discipline my daughter. I get onto my daughter, but I'm a little bit more stern with my boys. And then, my older boy, he thinks because his sister, blah blah, they get in a fight, he can push her, whatever. And I'm having to explain to him that that's not okay in real life. I understand it's your sister, but don't develop a habit of thinking it's okay to yell at a girl, to try to push your sister because she's annoying you or a girl, because once you get to a certain aspect, that's going to be looked down upon. Like that, society is going to eat you up on that. So so I'm starting to teach him a little bit that girls we're held to a higher standard on how we should treat girls, which is, I'm not saying it's bad. That's how it should be. But he's getting into that stage that he's got to understand that. Like he's starting to learn that and differential between you arguing with your sister and then arguing with your girlfriend or your friend that's a girl at school and stuff, and realizing there's different standards on that, because we all argue with our sisters. Like, I mean, I just told my sister last week she's an idiot, blah blah blah. I mean, stuff like that. But it having 3 boys, it's the older one's going to be 13 in November, and then I just got one that turned 11 and 7. That is going to be the aspect of have to teach them that men have a certain standard how they got to treat women. And it's, I mean,
John?
Yeah. I mean, early on, it's, with Braden, it was, it was a little different with my 2, because after everything that happened with Emma, he always protected her anyway, and it just kind of fed over into the other girls as well. But it was one of those deals where the conversations that we did have was, the girls, it should be treated like a queen, and that was the only way that I could relate things to him. With him, you take Disney movies, whatever, that's what they watched, and it was just one of those where they're treated different. They should be, the level of respect should be much higher for a girl, no matter if it's your sister, mom, whatever. Um, they're all the same. Uh, and so, it was one of those deals that, we had the conversation early on, and it's just kind of thankfully, he just turned 20, and the fact that he treats them well, other than a couple times getting in an argument with his mom. I mean, and it happens, whatever. But and it's one of those deals where I've had the conversation early and often, and thankfully it's just stuck with him.
And
The, I've only got young girls, but read somewhere, heard somebody talk that however I live my life or how I model my life is going to be a big indication of how they look for a spouse in the future. So I take it upon myself to do the things that I want them to know that a spouse later on in life um, will, what to look for in a good spouse in their actions and their work ethic and all that. I'm making a big point to do that with my girls. So that's probably the really big thing for me since I only have young girls and haven't went through all the stages yet. I know that these moments right now is what they're going to be looking at and thinking, well, I don't know why you're acting like that. My dad never did growing up, So hopefully that will really hammer into their brains when they get older. Number two, John, I think you're going to be the only one that's going to be able to answer this right now, but me and Mosey will give how we're going to prepare for it. But number two is sex. Did that just make you feel a certain way? I know it made my wife feel a certain way when my son's question went deeper and deeper. Sex is not bad, at least not when done in the right context and covering marriage. Don't fear this talk and don't just make it a one-time thing.
no,
How did
like
you
that.
have this conversation, John?
Yeah.
I mean, me and Braden's always had a different relationship. I mean, we've always been real close, but he's always one too that has always been real shy and won't talk about certain things, and he'll stay quiet, not say nothing. So it's just one of those deals where during the times early on, middle school, going into high school, it was one of those things where it was, hey, this is going to happen. I mean, we know, but at the end of the day, you can't be stupid. And he just kind of look at you like, well, what? I'm like, well, I mean, obviously there's ways to, keep things from happening. You just have to be smart about it, and we've had a couple different ways that the conversation can be had, but it's just been very candid. It's I've never had to go into details. Um, Still to this day, I mean, I never have. It's just one of those deals where he kind of understood the outline of the conversation, kind of knew what we were talking about, and to keep him from being or feeling a certain way or uncomfortable or just shutting down and not having the conversation, I just had to keep it being. It was just, hey, this is going to happen. You got to be smart. Don't be dumb. This is kind of the way I had to handle it with him, and thankfully it's gotten me this far. So
How about I mean, how do you do that with an older daughter? Do you let the mom handle that, or do you?
I did,
Are, okay.
just because of the relationship. I say the relationship, the comfortability, and having conversations about certain things. I could try and have the conversation with her, but it was one of those deals. Oh, stop, Dad, that's weird. Whatever. And then it just the conversation can't be had. So I just let the mom handle that conversation, and
Okay.
I handled the other.
Mosby, you got anything to say?
Well, lucky for me, I've only got one boy that's shown the interest in looking up naked women, and that's been my 7-year-old so far. But no, I will when I could tell that my boys are starting to get an interest in that and everything. The conversation will be, just make sure you're smart. I mean, make sure you're ready for it, because I feel like on this, the worst thing that you can do when it comes to sex is you can rush into it. I mean, like if you rush into something because you feel like you're getting pressured by your friends, or hey, I got my buddy that's getting all these girls and stuff like that. Well, that's your buddy. Make sure that it's something that you're ready for, because, like I'm saying, like I'm telling you, that the best sex I've ever had is when I've been in love with my wife. I mean, that is seriously is. I mean, and so like that says it cut when you cover and it's done right, and it's like covering the marriage. That's what I'm going to try to get across to my kids is don't feel pressured to rush into it, because you may not feel the gratification out of it that you thought you would.
Well, the reason that is, Mosby, is because this is a God created thing for marriage, and so when you're absolutely in love with somebody, it just means more. It means more whenever you're doing this, and that's something I will really push and harp to my girls as they grow older and get into this stage. I'm not going to completely shy away from having the conversation with them just because I'm the dad, because I know what a male mindset is. So if they ever have any questions for me, I try to have that open back and forth conversation, and just having that line of communication with my girls, so that way they know they can ask me anything when they get older. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's just single dads out there that.
And I feel like that's going to be what I'm going to do with my daughters. I'm going to give her a male perspective. Like, hey, this is how a lot of males think at times.
So obviously I'll push for them to try to wait till marriage, but also I'm not oblivious to the fact that it is the year 2026. And temptation, the devil really puts out temptation to really bring down people and destroy a lot of people. And I know that will happen. I know the temptation is going to happen.
The difference between now and when we were kids, I mean, everything's at your fingertips. You know, I mean, the curiosity was there. I mean, obviously the curiosity was there. We thought, and we wondered, and whatever. But I mean, shoot, it depended on if you could get your internet to dial up and connect to your, or not, before you could really even
Yahoo Messenger, baby.
Hey, AOL, whatever. I mean, shoot, hey, back in the day, you didn't have that stuff.
Back in the day, as in 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a long dadgum time ago. He was still being tempted in 1982.
Oh, it's always
definitely
been
tempting, but it wasn't at fingertips in 82.
It's always been there, like sour. It's always been there because we were created to do it.
Oh, 100%. But it's just it's more accessible now. It's easier, a whole lot easier to find whatever it is you want. And like you said, your 7-year-old can find anything and everything. It was harder back then. Could you? Yeah. I mean, it was in paper versions or VCR, VHS tapes, whatever. I mean, it was there. Now it's on your cell phones and everything else.
So anyway,
it's a lot easier.
We'll move on to number 3, but that's a big one. That's a big one, because it's everybody's going to eventually do it. So, and it's hard to say that whenever you have a 5 and 7-year-old daughter, but you're not stupid. If you think it's not going to happen, you're an idiot. Number 3,
I just had one get married. So
number 3, modesty. Modesty. Does modesty exist in today's society? A few minutes watching TV or surfing the web will have you doubting it does, but it does, and you can play a part in this for your children. And modesty isn't just for girls. Teach both your sons and daughters a proper view of self. Now, something I try to do with modesty, obviously being in church and kind of letting them kind of see some people, some godly people, and seeing kind of how they take themselves and approach themselves is huge for my daughters. But also, we really shelter them on what they can watch. And I know a lot of parents don't, and that's fine. It's the way you parent. I don't care. I don't care how you parent. That's cool. But even the shows that my wife and I used to watch, like even The Office and stuff like that. She loves the Gilmore Girls. I've been watching that with her, and even some moments in there you can't watch with kids because either they're saying language or they're talking about different things. And so I really try to shelter them as much as I can until it gets to a point to where I can't fully protect them from that any longer. And then we're going to have those conversations. How do you guys do that with boys?
I I preach like, and I think doing a pretty good job because my 11-year-old, he's 5'2", 140 pounds. It's a little bit. He's like you've seen him, Ben. He's a thick kid, but on Monday, he was very confident in himself. Had no issue taking his shirt off to go on that water slide and stuff like that. And that's what I try to preach to all. I'm going to try to preach to all my kids, and I think you do that by not ridiculing them. Like
Yeah.
I had stuff that I was nervous to do because of how I was raised. Or my boys and my kids, they're innocent. They have no, oh, we're going swimming. Let's take our shirt off and go. Boom. I don't care what my body, I mean, like, so I feel like you got to teach your kids to be confident in themselves and trust your kids to be confident in themselves, but also advise them, hey, like maybe you shouldn't be like doing this, shouldn't be doing that because of what this can happen. This. I mean, but be like I think that's a thing that a lot of people don't do is you got to believe in your kids and you got to teach your kids to be confident in themselves because society's hard. Society tells them a different thing. Hey, you're fat, you're chunky, you're too skinny, blah blah blah. If you feel comfortable with yourself and you're happy within yourself, then that's what it's about. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, modesty side of things, obviously, for the most part, for the longest time, thankfully, my kids, they were a little shy growing up. Braden, he hadn't really ever had to worry about him. He's always been in pretty good shape. Decent kid. I mean, he would take his shirt off, go swim, whatever. But he was always, pretty shy when it come to other. He wasn't you didn't have to worry about him just walking around pulling his pants down in front of people being dumb, like some kids can do, and, but it's a little bit different, when you start talking about girls, only because, for the longest time, from, 5 to 12, 10 even, probably with mine, because some girls do mature a little bit earlier than others. Girls, they get a little more self-conscious about their bodies and the way things change and whatnot. So, for the most part, that was a little easier when they're younger. Um, you know, Trying to teach them what to wear and what not to wear, and if shorts are too short or skirts are too short, whatever, shirts are too revealing. You didn't have to worry about that when they were younger. Now, when you're talking about teenage girls, I mean, mine, for crying out loud, about to start her senior year in high school. I mean, she's been, mature since she was 10 years old. Is when she started, but she had somebody to kind of look up to with Olivia, because Olivia, she was always pretty modest and didn't have to worry about any of that. So it was kind of like I would always kind of push her that way, and try to keep that thing going. But um, now that they've gone a little, gotten a little bit older, she does tend to get a little, more comfortable with herself, I guess.
Yeah, it's just because
You
she's getting
know?
older. Yeah.
Yeah, and getting more confident, and it's just like, man, you wanna grab them by the ears and pop them upside the
Yeah.
head, but, it's not like anything crazy.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she's still respectful with it, so that's a plus.
Yeah, she's a good girl. You done a great job. Let's move on to number 4, chivalry. It shows and fosters respect, admiration, and appreciation. Chivalry is not dead, but unfortunately, it may be on life support. You play an important role in keeping it alive in the next generation of your family. Model it, talk about it, make it important to your kids. I kind of talked about that. I touched on that up there when I was talking about girls versus boys a little bit. Chivalry, kind of modeling what you want your kids to look at. So we'll kind of move on to the next one. Number 5, selflessness. Talking to your kids about being selfless will help them care for others well. People who care for others well tend to have healthy relationships. Mosby, what do you have to say about selflessness here?
to me, this is a very important factor that you should have in life. I truly believe in this, and I try my best to live this example for my children because everything I do, It's not in my thinking of me. It's thinking of my football kids, my daughter, my wife, blah blah blah. Like I always try to find a way, always try to feel do make someone's life better in some way or shape or form. Like I mean I don't I I love selflessness. I mean go do it. Like I mean don't ask why you have to do it. And that's what I'm trying to teach my older boys. Like hey, just do it. Don't ask why you need to do it. Just go do it. Go do it because you know it needs to be done. Go do it and lead by example.
Well, also selflessness can hit many different categories of life, not just in a relationship or as a child, but as a teammate, as a coworker, as many different things. So, if you're able to kind of put other people first in your life, you really not only teach them kind of how even Jesus wants you to live your life, but you also teach them what if everybody lived their life selflessly, then this world would be an incredibly more better place. That's terrible wording there, but it would be a better place if we were more selfless.
Absolutely.
Number 6, the long-term impacts of relationships. In high school and junior high, for some, kids jump in and out of relationships. It seems they think once one is over, then no big deal. But each relationship has a long-term impact and also experiences that aren't as easily detached from. Talk to them about the impact all the relationships will have and do it before, not after, they experience heartbreak. Now, John, you're the only one that has kids that are on the older end of the spectrum here. Have you talked to them about relationships at all?
A little bit, not too much. For the most part, relationships, more so friendships than anything else. Emma's, she's had a couple boyfriends and and nothing serious, thank goodness. But Braden, he's been with the same on and off with the same girlfriend for I don't know 3 almost 4 years now. Um, so it was just one of those things where more so friendships than anything else, and the simple fact that a lot of his friends that he had when he was 5 6 years old, he's still friends with today. Where a lot of times you do tend to kids do grow, they grow apart, they start hanging out with others, and things change. He's lost a couple friends along the way. But as I've told him, it's nothing you did, just because you lost that that friend or whatever. It's not because you did anything wrong. They just seem to have different interests. And so for the most part, like with him, you could say Bodie Carter for example, or Nick Martins or one of those. They've been friends since they were 5 6 7 years old. Um, and either one of them would call each other and need help, and they'd be right there to help the other no matter what. And it's just one of those things. Once you have that relationship with somebody, whether it be with a friend or a girl or anything, I mean, it's one of those deals that friendships last forever. Relationships can too.
Well, it's been
And
about
you'll
30. It's
always
been
need them.
about 30 years for me and Ben. So
Yeah, I mean, I can call my best friend from since I was 5 years old, Ray Delcor. I was the first guy or first kid he met when he moved from Miami. I could call him today and say, "Hey, man, I got a flat tire, or I got I'm broken down." He'd drop what he's doing and he'd come help me. And
Yeah.
we might talk once or twice a year. We see each other every now and then. But if I needed something, he's going to give me the shirt off his back, and I'd do the same.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important that your kids realize that relationships doesn't just mean dating relationships. It does mean those friendships, and those friendships will go up and down throughout time. There's a lot of friendships that will stick when they're really young. For example, Mosby and I. But there are also friendships that you will have be really good in high school, and then all of a sudden those will drop off, and then your college days will come, and you'll make really good friends there, and those might carry, and you might pick up some of the high school friendships back up. It's happened to me all the way through. So,
well,
but
me and my wife knew each other for 7 years before we even dated.
yeah.
I mean,
So So it's important that your kids know that, they know that having a good, healthy relationship is important. So that's a good one. Number 7, intimacy and chemistry. When our kids become physically intimate, something happens. A bond emotionally and psychologically is created. And if that bond is not with their spouse, it's not a good thing. Later in life, this bond can impact the bond they are to have with the one they are supposed to bond with, their spouse. You guys have anything on that?
My advice, I mean, men and women are different in this. Okay. Our intimacy, chemistry, fluids, and wires are wired differently than women.
Oh
And
yeah.
the quicker that men understand that and the boys understand that, the better your relationship will be. And and it'll be better off for good. I mean, women are wired completely different than men, and it's hard for men, especially. It's going to be hard for these teenage boys when we know how we were as teenage boys. We thought boom, 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 this, and probably thought, hey, when I get married, I'm going to be able to be intimate with my wife whenever I want. Well, that's not true. They need different things than we need. I mean, so that's would be is going to be my advice to my boys is and my daughter is like, hey, each male or each male and female, they're different. This is each category, they need different things than we do, and the quicker you learn to understand that and find what that is, the better it will be for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's one thing I had to just real quick, just had to, Emma, when they're younger, the one thing that they need to learn is just because mom and dad say I love you, or stepmom and dad, whatever, doesn't mean at 10, 12 years old, when you think your boyfriend or girlfriend, that you know what love is. You have to, I mean, obviously, lust, whatever, you have to have those conversations early on, because they think the world's coming to an end. And I mean, there's, like Mosby said, I mean, boys and girls are different, or men and women, whatever. They're wired different. They think differently, and some fall harder than others. But it's just one of those deals that when you can find the happy medium, and know the difference, later on, obviously it benefits, um, once you are married and in that long term relationship.
Number 8, unity. My wife and I teach couples how to have shared goals and a vision for their marriage, all set on a strong foundation. If the goals, the vision, the foundation aren't rooted in the same thing, if they are unified, challenges can occur. Talk to them about what can happen when unity is present. One verse illustrates this in a great way. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Now, again, marriage is very important. Uh, for me, especially being biblical and really wanting to grow and build a foundation for your future life. But I'm going to tell you right now, and this is something that the kids need to know as they grow older. It's not always cupcakes and roses, and you have to learn how to navigate it. And I think again, it's kind of like when people said, are you ready to have kids? And then somebody said, you're never ready to have kids. You just have them, and then you adjust.
Figure it out. Yeah.
It's kind of
The
like
the
a marriage.
the best advice I ever got about being a parent, and was when I was dating, not my wife, it was many years ago before I even had kids, that said the exact same thing because her other daughter was pregnant, and said, You don't get ready to be a parent. You just be a parent. There's no way to prepare for it.
Yeah.
There's no way to prepare to be a parent. You just become a parent. Be a parent. I mean,
Yeah.
You know,
So
it's crazy, because it's true. I mean, when Braden was born, I didn't know anything about it. It's like, and all three of us can attest to this. The first time you hold your child for the very first time, it's different than holding someone else's kid. But it's just like when you hold them for the very first time, it's like, okay, I think I got this. Uh, you just feel that connection, because I can tell you, when the doctor went to hand me Braden, my hands were, I mean, I was nervous. I was scared. But the first time I held that little thing right here in my arm, it was just like, okay, here we go. I got it. And ever since, I mean, it's a roller coaster ride, because just when you think you got it figured out, things change. I mean, you can't prepare. Like you said, you just have to adjust and go.
Yeah, this is tough too because the unity is supposed to be, it's supposed to be God first, then it's supposed to be you and your spouse, then your children. And it's very difficult. And you'll catch yourself doing this. Oh, I bet everybody's caught themselves putting their children above their spouse at times. Maybe not on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. But you just do because you're so mindset on I've got to raise these kids to this. But here's the thing is if this is your roof, right? If God's the roof and then your marriage is right there is the top floor, if that crumbles, what's it going to crumble down on?
the children.
So you have to
And
keep that marriage
And
important.
if Guy's still in the TikTok, he could probably attest to this. When you have multiple children at the same age and they start doing different activities, that is a big stressor and a big test of your relationship and stuff. And like you said, it's not always perfect. It is not. If you find a perfect marriage, and I'm going to tell you that you're watching a movie and it's fake,
You're a liar.
they're a liar. But like one thing, when my wife, she'll ask me what's your favorite thing about us, and I give the same answer all the time. We always find a way.
That's right.
Always find a way.
Yeah. So that unity is very important, and it's just an aspect that I think number 8's. I think it should be up more, honestly, on this list. But that's a really good one. Number 9. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Number 9, accountability. Without accountability, our kids can be reckless. This boils down to their character and what they do when no one is watching. Talk to them about how this will impact every area of their lives. I was just walking through Lowe's today, and I've got my oldest daughter is an absolute wild child, and she just has to touch everything, run everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And she knocked down some kind of tub, and it fell to the ground, and she started running at me. And I turned around and I said, well, go pick it up. And so she did. She went and then she put it back, but she put it upside down and then ran back to me. I said, go back and fix it. Put it up the correct way, the way it's supposed to be put up. So she did. She turned it over and put the tub down. And without me knowing, there was a gentleman next to me, and he goes, good parenting, Dad. That's exactly how I raise my girls. Now, I wasn't looking for that, but I know, and I told him, I said, every little bit counts because in the long run, it's going to matter. Every little bitty action like that is going to matter. These little bitty accountability lessons are going to matter. They're going to screw up. They're kids. That's what they do. They're reckless, but you have to keep them accountable. And being in the educational system, the kids that usually don't quote me on this, but the ones that are usually the most disrespectful at school are the ones who are not accountable at home. Thoughts?
Well, my kids must be the most accountable kids at home because they never get in trouble at school. And then anytime they're not with me or mama, all I ever hear is about how respectful and how good they are. And then I sit there and think, what kids are you talking about? But this is where I feel like a big part of my job as a dad is, yes, I hold them accountable. You will be, there is a standard that I set as a dad that they know. But hey, it needs to be done. You need to do things a certain way and be held to. But I feel like that's what you should do to your kids. Because like I just said, my kids are great students at school. When they're on other teams, they are very respectful. They are very polite and stuff like that. But that tells me right there, like, hey, me and my wife are doing our job. I mean, because if my kids were out acting up all the time, then maybe something that we're not doing right. But I mean, they're going to be kids. They're going to be kids.
John, how important do you think it is that they see the accountability that you demonstrate as a parent?
It's very important. For me, it's one of those deals where I've always had the conversations, because there was time I don't want to go to school. I don't feel good, or you don't feel good. No, you just stayed up too late and didn't sleep. Well, guess what? That's nobody's fault but your own. You're getting out of bed and you're going to school. I was like, if I didn't go to work because I was tired and I stayed up too late, we'd be broke and wouldn't have a house. So it's one of those things, even from when they were little bitty, I was always a disciplinarian, and it was that was kind of the argument that me and now the ex-wife, and even me and Tracy's had the conversations. Uh, you're too hard on your kids, or they're scared of you. Well, good. They need to be, because at the end of the day, I'm a parent first and I'm a friend later. But there's a reason why people, I mean, and you guys said it too, but I mean, you guys know my kids, and anybody who tells me any different, they really don't know 'em. My kids are really good kids, and I'm not just saying it because I'm dad. I mean, everybody else will say it too. They're very respectful. I mean, they treat everybody the way they need to be treated, and for the most part, they're accountable to their actions. And a lot of that has Braden's played sports since he was young. I mean, he had to hold himself accountable, whether it was football, baseball, basketball, wrestling. A lot of that stuff, plays a part into it, as well as me holding them accountable, and trying to lead by example. I can do dumb stuff, and so can they, but when it all boils down to it, the most important thing is leading by example, and,
I,
and being accountable for my actions as
I don't know
well.
what kids he's talking about, most.
Yeah,
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 that's right.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Number 10, social media. Wow, this is a big one. Know enough to be able to discuss and provide guidance on all usage. Social media has taken the lives of many kids, not just in their attention and time, but their lives literally, as suicide and bullying rates skyrocket. Now, I am very interested. I'm going to ask you a direct question. John, I don't think Mosby, none of yours has social media.
No, Kasem runs mine and his YouTube channel, but everything comes to my phone. No other
Nothing like
social media.
Facebook or any of that.
No.
John, at what age did you feel comfortable letting your kids have social media? And a second part to that question, if you had it to do over, what age would it be?
So I think Braden had it probably a little earlier than I would have really liked to. Because with him, obviously with my work schedule, I was always gone. He had a cell phone at an early age, 10 or 11 years old, whatever. I think he started, had a Facebook, a Snapchat,
He definitely had a Call of Duty account. Go ahead.
yeah, he
Yes, it
definitely
is.
did
Yes,
that.
it is.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
Great
Instagram.
lobbies. Great lobbies.
Yeah, yeah. But, it was one of those things where this is where 9 kind of plays into 10, because accountability, he had to be accountable for his actions, and it was one of those things where, he couldn't get on there and post dumb stuff or look at dumb stuff, or I had access to the cell phone, so, I could look up anything and everything to see what he was looking at. Um, but they had my kids had social media probably a little bit earlier than what I would have liked. If I were to do it again, it'd probably be, 14, 15 years old. I mean, obviously a little bit closer to the high school age than it was, early, late elementary, early middle school. So, it was a little different, but, I'm one too that, obviously having access to it, I'm going to see what's being said or what's being posted or what's being messaged. And, you know, I didn't have to worry about any of the bullying per se, as much as just some of the dumb stuff that was said, um, and stupid videos that were being posted, that almost got him in trouble in middle school. And we had to have a conversation. He didn't know what a certain thing was. And
Yeah.
they were doing a video. And I mean, I got a phone call, but it was handled. I mean, he didn't get in trouble, but it was one of those deals where we had to have the conversation about accountability and being smart.
Mosby, what age are you thinking for your kids? And does it change based on the personality of the kid and the gender?
They will not be a lot like Kasem. He asked for Discord for the gaming. We allowed him to get that. I think we're about to take YouTube away from them again because of just it's getting not because they're not doing anything wrong. It's just getting to the aspect that that's all they want to do. But
Mhm.
like Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram and stuff, I not until you're to me not until you're old enough to drive. I don't care
Yeah.
that I don't care that your buddy has it or anything like that. Sorry, not happening. Not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm
I've got, man, I just look back. I look at it now and go, do you know, not number one, how much time we spend on it, wasting away, but number two, how much I would even say anger, anxiety, and stuff that it kind of causes for you by simply scrolling, and you might disagree with something or somebody's talking about you. Whereas if you didn't even have social media, you would just be living life and not even realizing what's going on. And I would even say this, like on X, I love X because it's, that's where I get all my sports information and stuff, and stocks and all that. I kind of look stuff up there. But even at that, it just scrolling through that and reading all that new information being popped out, it just, God, it kind of bogs your mind a little bit, Can you imagine a kid having to do that and then navigate life? So anyway, that'd be interesting. I want to hear what other people have to say on that one. Number 11. This is going to be a tough one. Pornography. This is one of the most addictive and destructive things. John Van Arnhem from the Third Talk speaks to teens in schools about pornography. He said that he hears teens all the time say that adults won't talk to them about pornography and its dangers. Having difficult conversations like this is essential. Don't ignore this. And if you struggle with it, then get help for you to talk to your kids about it. And this is so accessible, it's crazy compared to for old days.
Well, like you just said, you got to be careful what you get on X. Start popping up.
Oh yeah.
Start popping up on X. You got to be careful what Facebook pages you follow, because next thing you know, it's not showing straight nudity, but there's a girl with half her boobs hanging out. But
it's crazy.
What I'm going to tell my boys is, because it's going to be hard to shelter them completely away from it.
Yes.
But I'm going to talk to them and tell them that, hey, it's your desires are completely normal, but if you get hooked on it, it will change the way that you look at a woman. You will start seeing a woman and just viewing her as a sexual object, and that's it. And that's how they will start treating them. Well, then and that's not how they need to be treated. So it will change your mindset. It will change how you view women. But no, this is on the other side of, women. I know there's women that watch pornography, but more so the women like to read those books about sexual fantasies now, the smut books that they call them. I'm curious. I'd be curious to see if there's a study if that changes the chemistry of a woman's brain the same way that pornography changes the chemistry of a man's brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one to navigate because, like this guy said here, I haven't heard many kids or teens that will approach adults about it because it is just a weird conversation. I would even go as far as saying I think this conversation is more awkward and weird than the sex conversation.
Sex conversation, yes.
I do. I think it is because, how do you explain? That's just a tough one, guys. That's a tough one. I'd like to hear if anybody's watching, put in the chat how you guys have kind of navigated that, because that's a tough one. And like you said, you might have your kids or something go all the way through and not tell you that they watch it, or maybe they don't. And you wouldn't even know either way because they just don't talk about it.
Well, and then you open yourself up to having a conversation about something that they may not have had any interest in, and then you might have just opened the door for a crap storm of sin. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
It's a tough conversation to have because, like you said, you got to be careful. It's a hard one. I've not had this conversation. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've just prayed and hoped that maybe they didn't Google stuff, and I'm not dumb. I know they have, but it's just like that. What do you do?
Yeah. So that's a good one. I would like to have people kind of comment on that. Number 12. Oh my God. This is so bad. Peer pressure and temptation. I coach youth sports. Oh, hello. Look at this. I coach youth sports, and as a coach, I try my best to prepare my team for what they may encounter and what to do when they encounter it. We need to do the same for our kids. Talk to them about peer pressure and temptation, and even teach them what to say or do when, not if, they face it. I think of peer pressure as drugs and alcohol and smoking and stuff like that. This is where I think about peer pressure. What do you got? What comes to your mind?
Well, like that guy said, coach of youth sport. That's it, but it's also about doing things or making fun of someone because you see your other buddies doing it. So I preach to my boys and my girl, and I try to preach it to my football kids. Don't be who you're not. And like my example I use, I got a kid on my football team that is a athletic freak, fast, ball. Well, my 12-year-old, he gets jealous because he's not as fast as him, as athletic as him. And some other kids, they might struggle a little bit. So I tell them, like last year, at the beginning of last year, I started telling them, guys, be who you are. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to fit in to be someone else. Be who you are, and you're going to be the best version of yourself. You aren't that yet. Maybe you will be that. So, like, to me, that's a big thing of kids that need to understand. Don't try to fit in. Be you. Be what you are.
Yeah.
Don't be what other people are. Be you, because there's only one of you. There's not two of you. There's only one of you. And there's only one of that other person. Like, temptation's big. Temptation's still big for us. I'm 39 years old. You're 39. John's like 42 or 45. And
I'm 41. Thanks.
And temptation's still prevalent. Temptation never goes away. My dad that raised me, he had his flaws, but one of the best things he said was, the best way not to give into sin or to temptation, don't put yourself in that situation.
Yep. I was trying to keep my age private, but thanks for letting the internet know. I'm gonna pull a Matt here and say no one knew until you just said it. Yeah. Even though the government knows everything. Yeah. Peer pressure, man. It's so bad. I mean, this is why these kids will dress different. This is why these kids will act different sometimes. This is why, people will quit sports teams like in high school. Peer pressure is so tough, and it's not something I'm looking forward to, but I know it's coming. Even at my 7-year-old now is kind of talking about how some people will talk to her on the playground, and luckily being in the school system, I can actively see this every day, peer pressure and a lot of these things. And I'm able to kind of get some artillery in my mind of how to combat it when it gets to that point. But curveballs are always nasty, and they will always come in life, and I know that. So I've got to kind of be prepared on all fronts. Number 13, abuse. And this is a tough one. I see in the school system, I see some kids that have been abused, or you can kind of tell, and it's tough. It'll surprise you how many adults who have been abused in some way as a child or even as an adult. Some never told anybody. That's why having difficult conversations like this is vital. Talk to your kids about abuse of all types and open the communications lines so they'll freely talk about any abusive situation they may find themselves in or witness. This is not just physical abuse. Verbal abuse is big. Psychological abuse is big. Mental abuse is big. I mean, there's so many different types out there. And John, I mean, did you ever have any kind of conversations? Yeah. And the reason I keep coming back to you is because you're the only one who has one that's graduated.
Right. No, thankfully I haven't. I mean, there was a little bit, I say physical abuse, whatever. I mean, there was a kid that, was trying to bully Braden at one point. Spit in his face in the hallway one day because Braden wouldn't do something for him, whatever, and Braden didn't know what to do, and he called me that night and he's like, "Dad, what would you do?" And I said, "Well, if somebody spit in my face, I'm gonna knock their teeth down their throat, basically." I said, "That's disrespectful." I was like, "One thing, I will never allow you to start a fight, but you better stick up for yourself, because the first time you don't, it's just going to continue."
Yeah.
And the next day he went to school and the kids started picking on him again, and they kind of duked it out up the hill in North Park, like we used to do back in the day. He stood up
No
for
lie.
himself, and after that, never had an issue.
I
Yeah.
think it's important to teach your kids that certain things are not okay from certain people. Like, I mean, like
Correct.
even from me as a father and your wife as a mother, there's certain things that don't need to do. And like, my job as a parent is to be a better parent than I had. The
Mhm.
things that might have happened in my childhood and stuff. Like, it's on me to not carry that over and provide a better life. But like, just not with your parents, with the parents or whatever. Yeah, like you said, friends, coaches, teachers. It's not okay. There's certain things that we got to teach our kids that it's not okay. And if you feel uncomfortable, you need to come to your safe space for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Number 4, a good marriage. Years ago, my wife and I were asked, would your kids want to get married based on what they see every day in your marriage? It stopped us in our tracks and forced us to make some changes. Talk to your kids about marriage, including yours, to give them real life examples of what it's about. I don't think we need to touch on this. We've already touched on this a lot, but what a quote right there. Would your kids want to get married based on what they see every day in your marriage? Holy
In
cow.
the first 5 years of my marriage, no. The last 7 years, and more so the last 3 years, yes. Because me and my wife are very bad at arguing and fighting in front of our children and dra- yelling and stuff like that. And now, I'm be honest with you, like we get mad at each other and we might argue, but then we'll ignore each other. Like we
Mhm.
don't carry it on like we used to. We've
Mhm.
matured out of that and realized, okay, I'm not going to change her mind. She's not going to change my. She said her piece. I said my piece. It's time to move
Yeah.
on.
It's very important that they see you loving your wife too and knowing that that's how it should be done, boys or girls, honestly. So I love that. And number 15, according to this guy, everything you're preparing for marriage, everything your kids do now in relationships is impacting their marriage relationship. Don't wait until they come home with a ring. Start the dialogue in advance and guide them to become the spouse they want. Again, this is kind of setting the example of a good marriage. You're kind of preparing them for that. I know I don't think either one of your kids are even close, John, but as far as age, they are. However, you did just have
Yep.
basically a stepdaughter get married. So what was that like? The preparation
Well,
there. What was that like?
Well, hold,
uh,
hold on. John's got to get married before he gives marriage advice.
That's
no, I
true.
don't. Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
yeah.
No,
Maybe,
No.
maybe the two guys that's been married a combined 27 years should maybe take
Something like
this
that.
one.
no.
Yeah.
The good news
Yeah.
is I know what not to do. Okay, so I mean that's a plus. But I mean, stepdaughter. I don't. I mean, she's my daughter. And that's one of those things where, um, you know, her mom and I have been together almost 10 years now. August will be right at 10 years, and
And
so
you're not
You're not
okay. Go
married?
ahead.
hey,
What are you
we've
God.
been
waiting on?
engaged for like 7. Might as
What?
well.
God.
Why not?
When's the wedding? Come on. Maybe I'll get an invite to that one, like I
What?
got the guys.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
did Tracy? What was the conversation Tracy kind of had with Olivia?
Well, it kind of had. I mean, it was one of those things that Olivia's always had a good head on her shoulders, and
Yeah.
she's always been very smart and very open to, um, you know, other people's opinions for the most part. She's stubborn like her mom in some aspects, but it's one of those deals where, she's seen her mom and I. I mean, we've argued in front of the kids, and we don't argue as much as we used to, but there are times where we both want to grab each other by the ears and thump each other on top of the head, but we're both redheaded and we're stubborn as the bullocks. But it's we're both short tempered, but when we get quiet, and we know it's done. But with Olivia, it's always been a little bit different with her, and it's kind of crazy because she's not ever um, been one to be in a relationship in high school or anything like that. But she's always been the mother hen to the younger siblings. She's always, made sure while Tracy and I were at work during school or during the summer and they were home from the school, everybody was up and around and had food, and she's always been the nurturer, the one that's taking care of, everybody, and the housewife per se as a child. And, now, I mean, she's um, just recently married and takes care of her husband. I mean, she'll come home and cook lunch on her lunch break for the both of them. And if I'm home, she'll make enough for me, or if they're bringing home lunch, they'll bring me lunch on my day off. Or, it's just always been, she's always been that kind of person. So conversations really never had to be had. I think she knew what she wanted and how she wanted to be just by, I guess you could say, watching, her mom and Scott for the years they were together, and then
Mhm.
her mom and myself. So,
Speaking of marriage, I got a question that might be controversial. What do you believe the role the wife should have in the marriage, John and Ben?
uh, cook, clean, no, I mean, it's 100%, it's 100 on both ends. People say 50-50, but it's not. It's 100 from one and 100 from the other. Um, and that's 100% effort on all sides. I mean, if you're both working full-time jobs and home at a decent time, I mean, yeah, I mean, the husband needs to be helping if the wife says, "Hey, can you help me with laundry? Can you, help pick up the house?" Or a lot of times you shouldn't even have to ask. Now, I will be the first to say Tracy's there are times where she's hounding my butt because she's wanting to do something early in the morning. I'm just getting out of bed. I ain't trying to do something just yet. Um, but it's if you're both working full-time jobs, I mean, it's 100% on both ends on everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's things have changed, and I don't think there's one certain way that a wife should be a wife. I think it's put God first, and wherever the path that God leads you into. My situation is I'm not basically the stay-at-home dad in the summer since I work in the school system. But the reason I work in the school system is so I can have the breaks with the kids at all times. We don't, I don't need childcare. So, and that's the way our relationship has worked and our path has worked. Now, if it had been different, then we would have adjusted and we would have made it work. And so, but that's just kind of how our life
See,
went. So,
first part of my marriage, my wife worked in the school system. Now, for the last 2-3 years, the kids are with me more. I'm the one that goes and picks them up from school, takes them to practices. They're with me every day during the summer. Why? She's working she don't get the breaks anymore in the school. So, I mean, you got to be able to adjust on both ways. I mean, so in the beginning, I was the one working most of the time, and now she's the one putting in the more hours and everything. But I'm lucky enough to have a job and a boss that allows me to be there more for my kids. Because in the beginning, I missed a lot. I mean, but
Mhm.
once my kids got to a certain age, I made my wife a promise I will never miss any of their activities and stuff. And hell, sometimes I wish they wouldn't have activities. That's how much.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on tonight
Well,
and doing it.
couple little off topic things about being a dad. Okay, do not buy into the aspect that you have to buy every freaking toy. Don't. You'll end up throwing it away. You will end up throwing them away. And here's a big thing, and I feel like mothers have the harder issue with this than us dads do. Allow your children to fail. Allow them to
Yeah,
fail.
it's the only way they're going to learn.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Failing. That's where, I mean, failures where most of the great athletes have learned to become great and better. They've lost and didn't want to lose again. So thank
Go
you
back
guys
to,
so much for popping on tonight and having this conversation. I kind of like this article, the 15 conversations, that it's not just limited to 15. No, there's a lot more that we could have talked about, but we want something to kind of go by. So allprodad.com, if you are interested in reading that article and kind of looking through that guy has put some pretty good conversation starters for you. But other than that, if you guys don't have anything else, we're going to end this episode. And we are so thankful you came on. Like, subscribe, and share this, and let's get out there and see where we can take this podcast. So glad to have Mosby back. It's the original 3, and we'll get back to doing some sports, but we do want to start doing some of these off topic non-sports kind of things, just to kind of see where it goes. So Anyway, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Until next time.